It's not just another day in your life. Things are changing for the better. At Comcast, we see those changes, and we're thinking about how we use technology today to live, work, learn, and play. And we're building for the future now, so we're better prepared for the wants and needs of tomorrow. That's why Comcast is rolling out multi-gig internet speeds to more than 50 million homes and businesses before the end of 2025, making our already industry-leading network even faster, smarter, greener, and more reliable. Over the decades, Comcast has been your partner, working hard to serve your community, and will continue to be your partner. We're expanding our gigabits so you can enjoy the tiny bits that matter most.
You want a healthier lifestyle, but how do you get started? Then stick with it by listening to the Fitness Revolution podcast with Shay Sandifer, of course. Your journey to greater well-being starts now.
Well, hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I finally figured out what day it was just a few minutes ago. It's Coach Shay with Fitness Revolution. Welcome back. I hope you had a great holiday. Happy Memorial Day to all the veterans out there. My father is a Vietnam vet, so kudos to you guys all serving us and protecting us here in our country and other places. I have some amazing guests today, right? So as I always say, we're talking about, the revolution of us and what that means for fitness, wellness, and nutrition. And it goes bigger and deeper than that. For people of color, it's definitely about owning property and owning our own businesses. And so I had the pleasure of meeting two wonderful people. I should say one, and then she introduced me to another wonderful person that have started this amazing venue. So I'm going to talk more about that with them in a second. So I'm going to bring them in. We have Shanti Miller and David O'Neill of Mosaic Venue, Minnesota. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome, welcome. How are you? And happy Memorial Day, post-Memorial Day, David. I know you are a vet, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, I saw that. And I was like, okay, all right. You can come to the family barbecue. I was like, you're welcome. You can come.
I like that. I might take you up on that one.
We cook around here. So I love this story, right? I met you first, Shanti, like 2-3 years ago during COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah, the beginning of COVID, 2020, summer 2020 is when we first met. Yeah.
With mask on, like
the whole thing.
And I love your transition into entrepreneurship, right? As someone that's an entrepreneur, I love this as an operations leader that you're doing this. And then you come in, David, as an entrepreneur and a real estate developer. So all of this combined has shaped and formed Mosaic, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So go ahead. Tell us about this vision that was brought together. Let's hear it.
So the vision came along. Dave and I met, was it 2019, 2020? I lose track now of when we
2020. It was right into the pandemic, I think.
Yeah, right at the end of the summer of the pandemic. And I started working for the company that he was the VP of sales at. And I came on just as his assistant, and I get this phone call one random day when I'm looking for a new start, a new change. And this guy named Dave calls me and is like, I see your resume. You're super overqualified for this. I don't know if you're going to be a good fit. Like, I just don't know how this is going to work. And
right.
That's pretty much been the foundation of our entire relationship. Like Dave pushing me in all of the right, like pushing my buttons in just the right way to catapult me to prove him wrong, but in the best ways possible. So, but we came together and we worked at that company for 2 years, and we did a lot of scaling of their sales and their business operations. And then when the time came for us to look at what the next adventure was, he presented the idea of Mosaic, and it made so much sense. And I'll let him talk about that piece of it when he presented the idea and how the idea came to be on his end. But it just made so much sense and aligned with everything that we were already doing in our professional lives. And I'm fortunate enough that he considered me for that opportunity and immediately thought about me. So I'll hand it over to Dave to tell that piece of it. But
the whole thing's a little weird. She's usually not this nice to me. I just want to point out, I am really concerned about what's coming next. because this is the nicest telling of that story we've ever had.
And she's back from vacation, so
I'm
like
gonna
she's
preface this with I had a very
she's
long
like,
day of travel yesterday, so I'm tired. So it's either like aggressive tired or like naturally like kind tired. So you're getting that version right now.
I like how you make it seem like I'm intentional versus oblivious, because there's a very fine line sometimes, especially with
he's like,
entrepreneurs.
I know what's gonna happen. Like it's
Right,
not,
exactly.
it's all over after this podcast. Don't get it twisted, Shay. She's not this way.
I mean, it goes back to if you're ever in a business and you're hiring people, if you find good people that walk across, hire them for whatever job you have and build them the job you can put them in later. And that's something I learned earlier in my career, and it's been super helpful. I've had a lot of really good people around us. I think the team we built over at the last company with Shanti and I was really built on that concept. And we had some really good people that were hired. They were either overqualified or qualified in the wrong way for a job, but they were the right people to put in a company. Right. You grab them, put them somewhere, and then you can build them to what you need.
Absolutely. So here you guys are in this partnership, right? You guys did a lot of work really fast. I had the pleasure and the honor of being invited to the space when it was just raw, right? But I saw the vision. I love seeing stuff in its raw state. I could see what was going to happen, right? And you guys are talking about everything, and I'm like, you guys should connect with this person, and you guys opened in January of this year, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
It feels like it's been open for like 5 years. Does it feel like that for you guys?
I feel like I've aged 5 years since it opened. I will go with that. I feel like I've matured in a lot of ways throughout this journey because of what we went through in such a short period of time, and the learning that we have done and the growth that we've embraced during this time it does feel like 5 years in a lot of ways. I think back to when we first had you in, Shay. I think it was October. We had just started swinging that first hammer, and here we are this past weekend, had our first wedding. So it's been quite an evolution, and I'm just excited to see kind of where it goes from there.
So Dave, I have a question for you. So I hope I can say this. I know your wife is a woman of color, but had you ever been in a business partnership with a Black woman? Because our lens is different for how we're perceived in business, but also the perception of how we want to show up in spaces. Were you ready for that type of relationship?
Well, I mean, everything's a learning curve, no matter what you're working with. And no, I haven't. So my wife and I have been in business for a while, and she's an immigrant from Vietnam. So that has its own. I mean, I think it's always interesting when you're working closely with people that just have a different perspective on the world, just from different experiences. Shanti and I have some kind of similarities in our background, and then very different perspectives sometimes based on those same similarities. So it's harder at times because sometimes you see things kind of through different lenses, but it makes you so much stronger as a company by looking through multiple lenses.
I love that, because you guys are all about being inclusive and diverse. I love the whole concept that you keep the fee down just to get into this space, right? It's not, you need $30,000 to enter, right? The entry fee. It's what can we do to help bring everybody in? I think that's what's separating you from the other venue spots right now. Location too. But the concept is just amazing that there's so many things that we don't have to worry about. Hence, I'm getting married there next year, by the way, y'all. I'm getting married there. We love the space. It's so great.
Yes.
What made you say, okay, so we can charge A, B, and C, but what's going to make us stand out? What made you that's a conscious decision, like we are not going to charge them for every little bit?
I mean, maybe I'll start on my part and say that you can fill in the blanks, because sometimes it's just it's a value proposition that you're building. And one thing, again, it's learning as you go through your career on how, we're looking at it through a consumer lens, right? What's the consumer really want? And everybody's tired of being nickel and dimed and asked to tip for stuff that just want to buy things, right? It's like all these like little nickels and dimes that are disappearing on you. And so what we want to do is just simplify it. It also is confusing. And sometimes the idea of confusing the consumer in order to charge them a little bit more than they were expecting to be charged has kind of become commonplace to a point. But I think we hit a tipping point of that, and that is going back the other direction. And so that's kind of the overarching why we really wanted to be very one priced and just simplify the whole thing.
It's very simple. It's very simple. Yeah. There's no hidden stuff that you could, I have a contract. I've looked it over numerous times. I was like, wow, it feels like there's no hidden things, like if you want toilet paper, it's going to be 20 cents every time.
Yeah. Yeah. And we did a lot of market research on that. And what we found during our conversations late at night around the kitchen table was that we were getting confused ourselves trying to figure out what competitors were doing. And it's like, that was the most obvious piece of our value proposition that we could bring, was that simplicity. And it's what Dave and I did in our previous company, just simplify the process for the client, put all the complexity behind the scenes where the client doesn't feel it. So sometimes the simplified process does get to be a little complex on our end, but that's something we're willing to undertake in order to make sure the client experience is seamless.
I love it. I love it. And that's why I wanted to have you guys on, because as I said, we talk about fitness, wellness, and nutrition on here. I've now been to basically all of those things, that space so far. I've spoke on a panel about wellness. I have been there for wedding stuff. I haven't been there, not fitness yet, so maybe we need to do some fitness there.
Yeah, we'll do something.
The weddings, I booked my wedding, like all these things, right, that just encompass everything that everyone needs, right? It's definitely a one-stop shop. You're connected to a beautiful hotel and when I say that, as a Black woman that walks in this space, right, people don't know who has money. And so you are treated kind from the time the valet steps out. I've been there numerous times. From when I told them I'm going to get married, they're like, oh, we can show you around, not a problem. We love working with Mosaic, to everyone, from Finnegan's. And so I think where you guys get 5 stars is starting there, to understand that customer service, that when people walk in the door, that everyone feels wanted, right? And that they feel they can do any event there, not just what fits the norm. You know what I mean? So as you're growing over the next, this year is busy. How many weddings do you have planned? Let's start there. How many weddings?
For 2023, oh my gosh, I've kind of lost track, because now they're just like rolling in, which is probably the best problem to have. But I think, do we have 24, 25 days?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for this year. We have a bunch booked for 2024 too. So it's 23 or 24 this year.
So that you've got weddings, you've got events, you've got a lot going on. You're definitely the hot topic. Everyone's like, Mosaic, 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 right? And then I can't announce it now, but we're going to be announcing something with Mosaic soon. That we're going to be transitioning to 2024. But what's next with Mosaic over the next year? So, because you're only 5 months in. So.
Honestly, we're continuing to build this out, but for us, this is a bit of a prototype. Our goal is to do 30 venues throughout the United States. And so we're a startup in all intents and purposes. So all we're really doing is cutting our teeth on this a little bit. At the end of the day, we're a real estate company, really. And we rent out real estate. That's really at the core of what we're really doing. And so we are, so we're just kind of adapting it, growing it. And we're actively starting to do pitch decks and things for investors for the next space, which we want to open here, still in the Twin Cities. We want to bring another product within the Twin Cities for the next one. Hopefully a little bit larger, because we're finding a little need on just a little bit more space. And so we're kind of looking in that range right now.
And I thought it was great, because it holds, what, 450?
Holds about 450 or 500. What's interesting is 2 things. One, weddings that are, kind of US based, like that is more than enough space. We have a lot of different Muslim communities that come from different parts of the world. We have a lot of Asian communities that come from different parts, and those weddings are so much larger, and they just need more space.
Well, God bless them. I'm not having that many people.
500. They're like, this weekend we had a wedding there. It was Pakistani, and there was a couple standing at the bar talking about how much they love the space, but this was way too small for their wedding. And I'm like, man.
And the space is huge for people that haven't seen it. It's huge, like literally huge.
Yeah. So I think more space is the next one. I think we got to go a little bigger. But there's also all these galas that happen that are, really into the same spaces, and there's nothing unique about them at times. There's food choices are still the same. There's so many opportunities to make them a little bit more fun, and I think we could be a space to do that.
So tell people that will be watching this, like, what are some highlights that they can get if they book with you?
One of the biggest highlights that you get booking with us is an open vendor model, especially in regards to open catering. You bring in the catering and the food choice that you want to really represent your culture. And that's something that's largely missing in the Twin Cities venue spaces. So that's what we started this on, was that we were not going to have a preferred catering list. We were not going to restrict anyone into what food they had to bring, because that's at times the ultimate compromise that you have to make when you want to host an event in a large space like this. So that's just, we have been able to stand strong on it. A lot of people doubted us in the beginning and said, talk to me in a year and see if you're still doing that and if you still trust people. But everyone is so respectful because they want to come into our space. Everyone wants to work in the Mosaic right now.
Yep,
and
they do.
The level of respect that we are getting from vendors, I have not at any point been like, ugh, are we making the right decision? I haven't questioned our decision at all, because it's just growing our vendor pool even larger and our client pool even larger, because we're able to accommodate so many more cultures. And that's what Mosaic stands for, is that sense of belonging. And we can't say, come be yourself, but eat this bland chicken and this undercooked vegetable, because that's the only food option that we're providing for you. So,
and that would get no play over here with me.
No,
I need constant flavor
and asking for hot sauce.
You got to carry in your bag like Beyonce, right?
Yes.
Hot sauce, yes. Yes. How about you, Dave? What do you think is like the unique feature that would draw people in?
So again, I'm all the real estate guy, so I just talk about the real estate probably too much. But okay. I think our building and location is super unique. Besides having this amazing view of downtown that just changes as the night goes on, But we have our main space, but we have about 25,000 total square feet that we can rent out throughout our entire building, and we have a lot of people booking out our entire house. Where we have a private bar on the second floor. It has this real speakeasy vibe. We have a tap room that's Finnegan's Tap Room on the main floor with a large patio that can be booked together or separately. And then we have a co-working space on the fourth floor that gives us a secondary main stage, gives us breakout spaces. And then where you have about 500 hotel rooms all within a half a block. So we are starting to have some larger conferences that are starting to look at us. We have a couple that are booked at around the 500 mark, where we have a main stage, we have breakout spaces. We have all these kind of different and really unique functions throughout the day that it is. Instead of going to the hotel ballroom and doing it, you can do it in something that is very unique and people talk about. And we're excited to have more and more of that. I think there's a good opportunity there.
Well, I love it. I love it. So tell everyone, how can they get in touch with you?
You can find us on our website, mosaicmn.com. Instagram, our handle is Mosaic Venue MN. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Google. You can email us. I think I will receive a carrier pigeon if you want to send it that way. Like, we are open to any and every way to get in contact. I don't think anyone's ever struggled to get in contact with us. So that's the nice part, is we are easy to find. We've made it that way.
Yes. Well, kudos to both of you to coming together once again through a difficult time. But I think you are the epitome of what revolution is, right? We came out of COVID and civil unrest, and that a Black woman and a white man can come together, right? Which is a very unique business partnership. I'm just keeping it real, right? Yeah. And that you're coming together to bring people together to create a space that is safe and they feel welcome. So bravo to you. I'm you guys' biggest fan. I can't wait to have my own wedding there and other events there. So thank you for being on with us today. And as always, to everyone, inhale the positive, exhale the negative. This is Coach Shay with Fitness Revolution, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Check back next week for more on living your healthier lifestyle, and share previous episodes of Shay's podcast with your friends. Log on to ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com.
Hi, I'm Shaletta Brundage. I'm a media personality, podcaster, and a business owner. But my most important role is mom. 3 of my beautiful kids have been diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. When I didn't know who to trust or where to turn, I found ACRA. ACRA provides home care services to families all over Minnesota. The care is not one size fits all. They know each one of my kids is unique. They listen to what resources we needed and what's best for our family. I've seen my kids grow and thrive with ACRA's in-home care. While autism is the most common diagnosis among ACRA clients, ACRA offers personalized in-home care services for people with disabilities, chronic illnesses, behavioral diagnosis, and mental illness. They work with children, adolescents, and older folks too. Find out more about Accra at their website, acrahomecare.org. Accra helps me provide my kids with a better quality of life. They can do it for your family too.
When I walked across that stage at my high school graduation, I was excited, but confused about my next step. Then I walked through the doors at Doherty Family College. Doherty Family College is part of the University of St. Thomas. It's a 2-year college that lets you earn an associate's degree and puts you on a path to your bachelor's degree. Classes are small, so I have a personal relationship with professors committed to my success. Like the name says, they treat us like family. They call us scholars because they believe we could do anything we put our minds to. They set us up for excellence with free tutoring, and that's not the only thing that's free. Laptops, books, even breakfast and lunch, and bus fare. That's part of the package here at Doherty Family College. It's even free to apply. So do like I did. Go to dfc.stthomas.edu and set up a tour. We'd be excited to welcome you to our family here at Doherty Family College.
You know Shaletta makes you laugh, but did you know Shaletta Brundage can also make you think and boost your business? Media personality, activist, and comedian Shaletta Brundage founded Shaletta Makes Me Laugh to celebrate and share the best of Black culture. It's a podcasting platform. You can download 10 weekly podcasts hosted by African-American subject experts at ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com is also a production house, creating broadcast quality commercial content. And Shaletta and her team of storytellers create powerful promotional campaigns to get businesses the brand awareness they're looking for. Some of Minnesota's top businesses trust Shaletta, and you can too. Get out the word about your events and products and get in front of communities of color with ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com. She's got the power to help your business.